Okay, we have a volunteer to start with the word of prayer.
I will.
Okay.
Heavenly Father, we're grateful for this day, and we are grateful for thy gospel here on this earth and for this beautiful free country that we live in. And please bless us that as we discuss this case tonight, that we will be able to articulate our thoughts and be able to discuss the questions that we need to. And we're grateful for the opportunity to be able to finish our schooling online and still work and provide for our families and for ourselves. And please bless us in everything that we do and bless our families as well. And we say this in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Okay. Any spiritual thoughts?
Not me.
Not that I've got.
In here. Okay, so as a group, discuss what grade would you give Morgan on how he pursued Skyhook and why.
Let's see. So, what was it? Why he asked, or
It says what grade would you give Morgan on how
grade?
he pursued. Yeah.
I would honestly give him an A.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if that's being generous, but I feel like he deserves an A because he literally put his skin in the game. He sold his house, got an apartment so that he could lower costs, and then even went further and sold his or got rid of his apartment, lived with a friend, slept on his friend's couch, while taking care of his wife and 4 kids, and found multiple ways of reducing their costs just to make his dream come true. And I mean, he did phenomenal, and now he's got someone like Apple looking at him. So I think from famine to feast, he's kind of proven himself.
Yeah. That's what I would have to say probably is an A, just because he sacrificed quite a bit to get where he is now. Even though, like you were saying before, he didn't have a whole lot going for him at the beginning, but eventually Apple's a pretty big deal. They're a pretty big company, They're doing really, really well for themselves. That's a pretty big indicator there that what you have is pretty unique and pretty important, because Apple's not just going to go out there and, Apple's got a high quality product and people love Apple because of their product, even though they're a little bit more costly. They they do better. They seem to run better than, at least, it kind of depends on who you are and what your preference is, but a lot of people like Apple because of the quality, and you get what you pay for. And so I think with Morgan in this situation, with this company, with him trying to start this Skyhook Wireless, I think realistically, with Apple looking at you, that's a pretty good sign that things are going the right way. So,
I think so too, and I couldn't imagine listening to the messages on your phone and having a message from Steve Jobs and then thinking it was a joke, deleting it and realizing it wasn't a joke.
I would have been so mad at myself.
I would have been horrified, like, oh my gosh, well now what do? I have to call him back, but
I don't have his number.
you need to see exactly what the message said again, because thinking it was a joke, why would you even really,
Uh-huh. Yeah.
pay attention, take it seriously or whatever? I just would have been horrified.
Yeah.
I thought it was pretty funny though.
Yeah.
And probably, I like to think that it would have been a story that Steve Jobs would have liked to hear about,
Yeah. Would have gotten a kick out of it.
Probably.
Yeah. So Skyhook developed a pretty cool technology that has gotten a lot of positive feedback. Put yourself in the shoes of Ted Morgan. Um, why do you think he had a lack of sales?
Couple reasons. The market, they were before their time. They came up with technology and patents and stuff that weren't needed just yet, but were definitely going to be needed. And then when they were proposing their product to other companies, they were speaking to all the wrong people. They were speaking to people that was in charge of tech or people that was only in charge of strategy, and what they really needed was someone who was in charge of the tech and strategy to be a decision maker and say, yes, we're going for this. And so that since they didn't have that, they lost out on a lot of opportunities.
Okay.
When companies do that too, they have these ideas and develop these things that are so great, but it's too advanced for everybody to.
Yeah, to even comprehend, really. Some of them couldn't understand it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think one of those things is even though they got positive feedback, I think it was a little bit still more of like the unknown was kind of probably the reason why there was probably a little bit of lack of sales. Not a lot of people knew about the technology. So sometimes that can be a little bit of a disadvantage to you a little bit.
Hmm.
But like you were saying, once the patents and everything goes through and everybody starts realizing what's going on here and how cool of a technology it is, he's not gonna have a lack of sales. He's gonna be overwhelmed with sales probably eventually. So that's probably why I think that was probably the main reason why the lack of sales is just not a lot of knowledge of that industry, or at least of that technology.
Hmm.
There was some knowledge out there, but not a whole lot compared to people know GPS. GPS has been around for how long?
Hmm. Yeah, 30
So
years.
yeah, so like one of those things is, do they really want to go from something that they've known for 30 years that's been pretty reliable versus something that's just coming brand new? But obviously, Apple sees something pretty important to it, so it obviously
In
is
a
cheaper
case
too.
study that it was something about it was I'm trying to find it. It was worrisome for investors that um, there was a marketing problem. I can't find it now, but investors were worried about something to do with, I think, the location services outside. Shoot, where was it? Did either of you remember that?
You saying like outside physically or?
Yeah, outside physically, I thought, unless I'm remembering incorrectly.
I think that was an issue with GPS was the those issues.
There was something I was reading about the investors being worried about something. Shoot, I can't remember what it was.
Investors are always worried.
Well, that's true. But there was a couple of things. There was like two or three things that it listed, you know, specifically by 1, 2, and 3, or and that was one. That's what I remembered, but now I can't find it, and I can't remember exactly what it was.
Let's see. So it looks like there was no existing algorithms to efficiently determine Wi-Fi locations in outdoor environments. Is that it?
Oh, maybe where is that?
Uh, it's just in my own notes. I'm not sure.
Okay. Shoot. Yeah, that was one of the things, and then there was. Oh, here it is. I found it, I think.
Yeah, okay, so I see what you're saying. That's where they didn't have an efficient way of going outside and tracking every
Right,
single GPS or every single Wi-Fi
right,
router in the world.
right. Okay, so yeah, there it is. Create a second. The potential market for Wi-Fi based location services was diverse, and creating a marketing focused problem could be worrisome for investors. That's what I was thinking about.
No,
Mhm.
no. Okay, so it says review the deals below that and describe the proposed deal outcome and lessons learned. MSFT, E911, Nokia. What was the proposal? What's the outcome? Lessons learned from it.
So let's see, Microsoft, they proposed to make a deal just for their, I think it was called maps and locations, something like that.
That sounds
Uh,
about right.
yeah, and they just offered to do it there, and Microsoft said, "Hey, yeah, let's do it." And they sent them a contract, and Skyhook signed the contract, sent it back, and then Microsoft immediately changed it to like a third of the profits that Skyhook would have made. It's like they changed their mind. Actually, I kind of didn't catch why they did that. Maybe because Skyhook was so easy, it's so ready to agree with the first terms and conditions instead of negotiating or something. Maybe Microsoft felt like they weren't confident enough to negotiate in their own product.
Huh. Yeah.
So I'm not sure about that. Um, but yeah, to me, the lesson learned is when they're negotiating, they need to act like their product is worth a whole lot, and then they can negotiate down to their normal price if they really want.
Yeah.
For
Not.
E91, hmm?
No. Go ahead.
Yeah, E911, I don't think much happened there. They didn't really do anything wrong, except for that the E911 that was going to use their location services for people to make 911 calls, I think, over the internet. And it never panned out. I don't know if that was their fault. And then Nokia, it was the issue of talking to the right people and coming up with a good negotiating plan. It is just they had to jump through too many hoops.
Yeah, I think the reason why they would have, I think the Microsoft thing didn't work out as well as they thought it was. They kind of played into the hands, kind of in a way, to Microsoft because they said, "Okay, you're Microsoft. We'll do whatever you tell us to do." You know what I mean?
Hmm.
This came running, and you just don't think twice. You think you got a big company like them coming from you, you think it's you're gonna get a good end. Whereas if you're a smart entrepreneur and have a company, what you're gonna do is you're going to make sure that the contract is what you want it to be as well because you are the one that they're interested in, so make sure that you're getting the best. I'm just kind of surprised that Ted didn't do that
Yeah.
with Microsoft. You know what I mean? Like, it's pretty common sense that, you know, I'm sure Microsoft will be able to negotiate with you and you'll be able to get what you want, but they'll also get what they want as well. But I just think Ted just quickly went right after it because
Because they're excited for the opportunity. They're like, sweet, let's do it, whatever they want, you know?
well,
Yeah.
in the right side of mind, anybody would do that in a heartbeat, like the most common sense, you know what I mean? Like, it's pretty common sense to do that, but the smart thing to do when you're an entrepreneur is you want to make sure that you're going to get the best bargain out of it, because you've got a product here that could not only make you a bunch of money, but could provide a product to the whole world that could be very beneficial.
Hmm.
And you've got a company like Microsoft you know, obviously has been doing really, really well for years and years and years and will continue to do so. But it's not about necessarily the money with Microsoft because Microsoft's got enough money that I think that'd be okay. It's just a matter of you getting the right end of the deal. So, but I don't know. That was interesting. But yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and the E911, I just think I personally I could see that being a hard sell, being a hard proposal because you don't really want to rely on Wi-Fi for emergency calls, to be perfectly honest. Like, how many times do we come home and our internet quits out on us? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Well, and it's so easy to just
like,
call 911 from your phone. I mean,
yeah,
e- even a phone that doesn't have service on it, if you
yeah.
call 911, they'll still answer.
People buy just a phone, like a cell phone, just to have a phone so they can call 911 if they needed to.
Yeah.
You know, it's just one of those things. Is I think Wi-Fi, it would have to be pretty much dummy proof every single way to make it work to where it wouldn't cause a life or death situation if they were relying on that. Now I get the value of it, maybe possibly because you could be out in the middle of nowhere and not have reception, but you have this Wi-Fi available to you to call. Okay, I can see that standpoint. Like in the mountains or anything like that, in the wilderness or something, you got like some kind of tower nearby or something like that. It's got, like you're saying, I can see the value to that. But how reliable is that going to be?
Mhm.
Is there proof there that it's going to be reliable? Are you going to be able to rely on that? Now, obviously, if you're out in the wilderness and you got an emergency, your chances are a lot slimmer than if you're, say, in a populated area, where help can get there quicker. But I don't know. It just doesn't seem the right fit for at least emergency purposes. Not me, anyways. Okay, so who benefits from the technology? What problem does it solve? Who has this problem? Does the business decision makers in the companies above feel the pain that this solution solves?
Who benefits from the technology? People with mobile devices? Uh, I mean, technically, so that was kind of the thing, was that it was so broad in its applications that it really benefited everyone. So people with mobile devices could use the location services to find their phone or find their iPod. If it's missing, it'll give you a GPS location of where it's at. Um, for local ads, they can specify the local ads based on your location. And I mean, just kind of, I don't really think there's anyone who wouldn't benefit from it.
Yeah, I think overall it's a pretty beneficial technology, to be honest. Um, I think like you were saying, it's it's a lot better reliability than GPS. Um, you know, which obviously solves that problem. You're going to get a better idea where you're at, location wise.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so realistically, I just don't see the only pain that I can see necessarily that this thing can solve for them is basically give them more reliability on locations. You know, like like you were saying on apps or whatever it may be. You know, like
Mm-hmm.
people I know sometimes get a little frustrated, especially with their phones or something like that they're trying to get to location and the maps haven't necessarily either updated or whatever it may be and you go to the wrong spot. Whereas if this technology would help erase that problem, I think it would be more of a benefit. I don't really That's the only pain that I can see is probably their customers are complaining about um, not getting the right locations on certain places. or in remote areas. Like if you're in this town that's out, out in the boondocks, or you need to go to like this location or this address that's just kind of in the middle of nowhere. Maybe this Wi-Fi technology will get you there instead of the GPS. We rely so heavily on GPS and think it's always going to get us there, but sometimes it doesn't. So
Yeah.
So okay. So we've got a vote, and here's the question it asks is which strategy option do you favor? Local ads, sell the company, or persevere?
If anything, I would, if Steve Jobs offered to take it, I would totally do that.
I'm the same.
Because there would be, it seems like there would be some sort of, I don't want to say residual, but some sort of fee for each phone, iPad, whatever that had that service installed in it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think that would be not a bad way to go.
Not at all. Yes, I feel the same. Yeah, sell the company if it's Apple, you get
Mm-hmm.
market credibility. Like talk about that on your resume for a company who sells services. And then I think was it 75 million products a year that their Skyhook would be put on.
Yeah.
They'd make a ton of cash doing that.
Right.
And so that's the way I say.
Yeah, I think he could. I think he'll make a lot of money. He'll profit a lot from selling the company to Apple because Apple will pay him a good share of what they deserve needs to be paid to him because one, they're Apple. They're going to want the best quality of anything that they're going to try to sell. And with this technology, anything technology wise for Apple, they're going to try to do everything they can to make the best quality technology devices and whatever is on those phones or whatever they may be, they're going to try to do the best they can. So you're going to get your money's worth out of it. You're going to get what you want, probably if not more, for your product because they're going to do everything they can to get that technology from instead of trying to get that sold to another company. I
Mm-hmm.
think they would hate it to see to go to like Microsoft or some just someone that could take it to the Android market instead of the Apple market. You know what I mean? I think that would be something that would be really hard for Apple to not pay a pretty penny to you just to get it out of the market of out of their competitors. So
Yep. Yeah. Try to be innovative and stay above the game or ahead of the game.
yeah, yeah. So it says the next one is convince everyone in your group that you have the right plan. For each of the options above, discuss how likely Skyhook will be to succeed given the following circumstances: current team skills, resources such as cash, people, technology, etc., business model.
Yeah. What does it mean for the right plan? I think
If you're going by if it's asking to sell each other on our strategy option, I mean, we all wanted to sell the company, and really, there's no other. I mean, we don't need any more investors. We don't need, a team. We don't need anything anymore.
Right.
If you sell it to Apple.
Yeah. Yeah, I think their team's great. Their team skills are great. Uh, um, the co-owner, the salesman guy, he was able to get in touch with Apple, then get in touch with Apple again, and now they've got this opportunity. So they're doing well. The
Yeah,
resources, they're frugal as any company I've ever heard of.
I agree with that.
So I think that's
That's why they
fantastic.
got Bain Capital to invest. Um, the I don't know if it was one of the managers at Bain Capital or wasn't sure if he wanted to invest because he thought that they would need a lot of capital, and he wasn't sure how Ted spent the money, so and how frugal he was, and so in their meeting when Ted left the room for a minute and they were talking about it, the manager said, when Ted came back in the room, he said, "Hey, where are you staying?" And he said, "At La Quinta Inn." And that kind of sealed the deal for the manager because it was the cheapest hotel in town.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, they lived the value of frugality.
Yes.
So yeah, I think their business model is great. What they're trying to do is revolutionary, and they should go for broke.
Yeah, I agree with you guys there. Yeah, they're frugal, but there's nothing wrong with being frugal.
No, absolutely not.
Like I've always been frugal for the most part, in my life, even though, I've, I've seen my family with, been successful and have money, but they've always been pretty frugal for the most part, so I just think it's smarter that way. I think, if you can get away with being frugal and be successful with it, why not do it, So,
Hmm.
as a group, prepare an agenda for your call with Steve Jobs. What is your BATNA, BATNA, whatever that is? What are Jobs' interests? Why did he call you? Who should pay? Will you pay Apple to get onto their device, or will Apple pay you? How much will you propose for your answer? How big is the opportunity? How big is this opportunity for Skyhook?
So the BATNA is the best alternative to what's being offered.
Okay.
So
Yeah, it says this is the um, best alternative to a negotiated agreement. This is your alternative plan when the talks start to wobble out of control.
yeah.
Most advantageous alternative course of action.
To me, it almost sounds like that would be kind of like, what's your walk away? And to me, I think that'd be one of the options. I believe was that Apple, you, you would pay Apple to do it, and I think that would be kind of the BATNA there. That'd be like, okay, well, we don't have the capital to pay you guys for this, and just because we're gonna have you as a someone on a resume, that's not going to be enough for us to be able to generate enough revenue to keep things going. So I would say that's the BATNA. If they say anything more than a or less than a penny, then they should walk away and try to persevere.
Yeah.
And Steve Jobs, his interests, I think it mentioned something. There's a very, very key detail that it mentioned in one of the sentences. I think the professor actually provided it though. It says regarding Google, the company was widely rumored to be developing a branded handset. And so Google is the people they were using for maps, but they're rumored to be making their own basically iPhone, their own smartphone. And so for jobs, there was two interests: cost savings, which it's significantly cheaper to use the Skyhook method, and then also security against competitors. And so that would be jobs interests. I think he called us because he saw that opportunity, maybe a third-party opportunity to get away from Google. And who should pay? I think Apple should pay. Even if they pay a lot of money, they're going to save a whole bunch. Because right
Right.
now, if they use GPS, I did the calculation. So 75 million products at $4 per product to have GPS chips makes it for $300 million a year.
Jeez.
Yeah, so it's really, really expensive for them to stay on track for a company that is potentially going to betray them with making their own smartphone.
Yeah, so I think realistically, um, I think Apple obviously should pay for it because they're the ones that are showing the interest in Skyhook's technology into their product, into their service that they're offering. So, and like you were saying before, the price that they would be paying versus what they're paying probably now would save them money in the long run. So realistically, even though they're paying for this up front, one, it'll be a great technology for their product, which may get really good reviews and help them sell more of their product, which bring in more revenue. But also at the same time, by switching this technology and saving the money, that will leave them more opportunity to possibly even advance their technology and advance their product to bring more advances and more great new features that could possibly come out with Apple in the years to come. You know, everybody gets excited every year when they, announce a new iPhone or a new Mac or whatever it may be that they might bring out. There's always something new to bring out. But that money that they would save, they'd even probably be able to make it even better or save it into a little bit of an account off to the side so they can pull from every year so they can continue yearly, this yearly thing that comes out every year of a new iPhone or something like that. And, even not even necessarily an iPhone or an iPad or even a computer, maybe something different that we won't even ever know. Like maybe a whole new product that is not even existing right now. You know, like the Apple Watch.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was something that was new. That not a lot of people like. That was probably one of the first of its own kind. So something like that. So that's kind of where I'm at that standpoint. Is I think realistically, I think Steve Jobs is looking at it as if I can get this technology and it can do what I want it to do and even more, and it can save me money, why not do it? Why
Right.
not save me some money, still make my product really great, and use the money that I have that I'm saving from using this product to make my product better by either creating new products or even just making your products you currently have even better every year. So,
Yeah. So I think we all agree that's the way to go.
yeah. So, okay, well, that's it. Well,